Hello and welcome to this next video on Introduction to Simulink. Today I'll talk to you about a very important aspect of Simulink, that is the scope, or it is also called as uh, the output. Okay, output visualization tool. So we can see the output in Simulink in variety of ways. One way is to imagine that you have a oscilloscope as you have in the lab, CRO. Generally we call it as CRO, old CRO, or your digital CRO, right? And another way is to actually observe the value of the signal. So for demonstrating this particular thing, what I have done, I have in Simulink, I have just dragged a simple sine wave source, okay, from the Simulink library browser. You can go to the library browser and drag and drop this sine wave, or else you can double click in the canvas and type sine wave and you can drag and drop. I think you are aware of this. Okay, then second thing what I have done is I have added a display block here. Now this display block is added again by searching the library browser, and the scope is added here. So these three simple elements I have added, and the output of this sine wave is connected to the scope as well as the display block. Okay, so my objective is to tell you how you can visualize the signal and do the fine tuning for of your whenever you do experimentation. You can actually visualize in details and do the troubleshooting and find out many interesting insights into the experiment. So after connecting this, I have run it, and I have opened the scope here. Now what is this scope? This scope is your CRO, and it can be resized as per your requirement. If you double click this block, the scope will open, and as per your requirement you can resize it. You can see it full screen, half screen, whatever. Now there is one very interesting additional tool available here in the scope, is this button. Okay, if you go to this particular button, it is a step simulation. Step forward means it will just increment the time of the simulation by a small step. Now what is the value of that step, that you can specify. We'll discuss about it later on, but right now if I just click on this, the simulation will run and it will just go a step forward. So now I want you to pay attention on two aspects, one on this yellow waveform and another on this display. Okay, so as soon as I press step, you see the yellow waveform is slightly gone ahead, and here the value has changed. It is now 0.9738. If I do further step, see the value has changed to 0.9093 and the yellow waveform is going on. So this way, see, I am doing this step one by one. I am clicking this, and here in the in this window, status window, you can see the time of simulation. So the total time of simulation which I have given is 10 seconds, out of which 3 seconds are completed, and this is my output during these 3 seconds. I can go on doing this step, okay, or I can do the complete simulation as well. So if I say continue, it will complete the simulation of 10 seconds and show me the final result. But sometimes I'm interested in a particular value at a particular point. So here the step simulation will help. As you can see right now, the step is increasing by 0.2 seconds. So every step I'm going by 0.2 seconds ahead, right? And you can see the display, how the values are changing in the display. So this is one advantage of the MATLAB scope. Okay. Now there are many other options in the MATLAB scope which can be explored here. If you click on this configuration parameters, you can observe those options and change the options, right? So right now I completed the simulation. So all the 100% simulation has been done, completed, and hence the completion sound will be there. Okay, then in this there are few more tools like this magnifying glass. You can see this is zoom in. So zoom in can help you to zoom in on a particular part of the graph. So if I want to zoom in only on this part, I can do that, or this part I can do that. So this can be done by using the zoom in option. Then there is a another option. Okay, so here the configuration is opening. So number of input ports. So if I want to see only one graph, number of input ports will be 1. I can change the layout also, but right now since I have only one port, the layout has no meaning. So I can see multiple graphs in a scope. multiple signals in a scope. Just as in a CRO also we can see two or more signals if we have a multi-channel CRO. Similarly here also you can see more than one signal, right? So these things can be done in the configuration properties, right? And it is taking some time. Then as I was telling you, you can zoom in and zoom out also, and you can do many more things on this. Yeah. So if I go to the zoom option, you can see there are various options. This is zoom X, that means you can zoom the X axis. This is zoom Y, you can zoom the Y axis. You can zoom out the entire thing, and you can also pan. Okay, so all these options are available. So I can do the panning also, that if I want to change from one point to another point, so you can use this hand tool and you can pan the pan the waveform, so that you want to see exactly at a particular point what is happening. So this can be done, right? Apart from this, we have the options of the scale the x-axis limits and scale the x and y-axis limits. So if I click on scale x and y-axis limit, I'll get the original graph. Then I can pan like this if I want. I can zoom, I can pan, right? And I can, as I told you, I can add more than one signal to this. So for that I'll have to go to the configuration parameters and change this number of input ports to 2 instead of 1. If I can make it 2, 3, whatever. So if I make it 2 and say okay, what will happen, that after this okay is completed, it will show me 2 inputs. Okay, now what do you want to see on the second input is up to you. Okay, so you see the new input has appeared here. Now what do you want to see on the new input is up to you. So let us see the same thing on the new input as well. So let me connect this point here. Okay, now if I go to the scope, I will have to reopen the scope, and if I go to the scope again, and I'll have to run the simulation again for that purpose. Okay, and then it will show me the 2 signals if I run it again. So this way you can observe variety of signals, multiple signals on the same scope. So this is different than the MATLAB plot, but you can always convert the MATLAB scope to a plot as per your requirement. So what I have done, just to show you the difference between the two waveforms, what I have done is I have added an integrator. So this is the sine wave. I added one more block from the Simulink library browser, which is 1/s, which is integrator, and connected it to the second input of the scope. And when I run the simulation, I will get two waveforms like this. So this yellow waveform is the original waveform which we have seen, which is of the sine wave, and this is the integration of the sine wave, the other waveform. Okay, again you can do the stepwise simulation and all those stuff which we have done, which we have seen earlier, right? So on the same graph, just like your CRO, actual CRO, you can observe the graphs here. Now there are more options which are available in this, which are like you can do some kind of measurements also in this. Basic measurements can be done here, and you can also do some printing and printing operations if you want to show this to in your PPT, or if you want to publish this in a paper. These things can also be done here, right? So these options are available. So like cursor measurements we can be done. So I can click on this cursor measurement and I can go to a particular point, and I can get the values at that point. So right now it is taking time. You can try it. It is taking some time in my case, but then it can be tried and seen, right? So all right, then there are options of print. So you can go to file and print, and you can do more things here. Okay, so you can see the cursor measurement. You can see time location 1 is shown 2.5, signal 1 value at location 1 is 2.5, and then the value of the signals, the delta t, okay, delta y, etc. All these values can be shown by using the cursor measurement. It is very simple, right? Then you can also use this other options in the toolbar here to do more things. Okay, so when I click on print, I'll get a printer pop-up like this. Then whatever printer you have, you can directly print it, or you can print to PDF as per your system. There is another option in this file menu, which is copy to clipboard. Copy to clipboard is just like copying the figure to your clipboard, and then you can paste into Word file or PPT, etc. Right? So this is also a good option. And After going to the particular word file, etc., you can change the colors also, or there is option here also to do that. Right now we will not focus on that, but you should remember that this such option is available, right? So these are all the aspects of the scope. It's a very important thing. And one more important one very important thing is, you can not only see the data here and observe the graphs, but you can also save this data into workspace, which can be later on accessed, and you can use it further for your other work. Okay, so these aspects are slightly detailed, where you need to understand MATLAB as well. So we will cover this topic in the when we do certain projects. So what we'll do is, we'll take the data from here, we'll save it to workspace, and we'll use that data for doing some more calculations, plotting some graphs. So we will cover this in the further lectures. Thank you for your patient listening. Thank you so much.